Democrats. So keep that in mind. Number two, I can't tell you how many boardrooms and executive, sitting around a table with executives. I can't tell you how many times business leaders have deliberately replaced American labor with either low cost offshore labor or low cost immigrant labor. Now, I think any business leader will do that. They are incentivized to do that. So as you kind of think of how the system should work for you, understand that it doesn't matter if you're left or right. This is the behavior of a business leader. And business leaders, by the way, fund elections. So when you say like you want honest and fair elections, well, those elections are very easily influenced by business leaders. I could write a check, and these aren't like big checks. You can get a congressman's ear for a fairly small price. So just hold all those facts in your mind as you kind of try to conceive of what immigration should be and what the country should look like as this inevitably erupts in the streets of Los Angeles and the rest of the country.
I think that the way that you fix it is uh we need a cease and desist, right? We don't need any more people coming in here at all, unless they're the top minds. And you can argue with me about that if you want. But if they are proven to be the top minds, and that's what we need right now as far as like AI and shit like that goes, that's one thing. But other than that, we need a zero tolerance policy on immigration at any kind of scale until we have thoroughly worked out our vetting system, and then also ejected all of the people who do not need to be here. They need to be ejected. There needs to be a comprehensive bill, a significant legislation passed as a plan, a strategy, a process to remove these illegals. I like the idea, and I made a long post about this earlier. You offer each one of them $5,000 to leave the country now, right? Because it's an estimated $10,000 to $15,000 to apprehend, house, and deport somebody from beginning to end, right? Per illegal. If you run the math on that, it's an unfathomable number. It's like $30 trillion. If you incentivize self deportations by offering them $5,000 a piece, let's say, and you break the cost up by offering transportation companies such as international airliners, buses, etc., bus transports, you offer them tax break incentives over a set amount of years, and then you break up the payment system for the American people on the debt because it's going to cost you trillions anyways. There is a sustainable way to do it. It takes like 30 years, and you deport 30 people or around 2 million to 2.5 million a year, and it's actually feasible. We need to do something like that, but that would require radical legislation, and Republicans with the balls and the tenacity and the willingness to throw the entirety of the government under the bus in order to get that type of legislation passed in one of these omnibus government funding bills, right? Where, all right, you want your programs funded, then you're going to have to agree to this deportation plan. Otherwise, fuck it, let it go under. And we need Republicans with the balls to do that. But there is a way to do it. But I don't think it's reasonable to assume that we'll ever see it. Go ahead.
We have to repeal Citizens United diligent. That's the major one. That is the legislation that gave companies the same voting rights as citizens, right? And to the last speaker, when they might not have Republicans and Democrats, okay, but when you have one party, the Democrats, incentivizing people to come here and giving them safe zones in this country where ICE won't bother them up until the point where President Trump took over, they are aiding and abetting the invasion of our nation, and they need to be held accountable.
What if we stopped all lobbying, Jennifer?
I think lobbying is a huge aspect of it, right? When you're giving people the power to go up to Congress and whoosh and smoosh and take them to dinner and games and travel, right? Like that is not okay. You should not be able to bribe politicians. What lobbying is legal bribery. Rich legal bribery is what lobbying is. And we don't have that power, right? We're lucky if we even get a phone call or a letter in response to all the phone calls and letters that we send, right? When you're giving rich people and companies power who are trying to blackmail politicians, that's not okay. And when you see politicians being blackmailed like ours are in many different aspects, right, there is a problem with the quality of person that is being put in that office. It's not the ones who are smartest. It's not the ones who are most educated. It's not the ones who deserve the job the most, right? It's the ones who know how to shake their ass to the donors and get the money so they can buy their way into office, pretty much.
Yeah, we have to change the pay for play. That's another vulnerability in the system that we have to change. But that was a Supreme Court decision that upheld Citizens United. So that would require a repeal of that. Or I'm sorry, they would have to flip it. So yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Jen, no, I agree with you on that. But on that topic, or on that same vein, dealing with what we're dealing with now, with these riots, I definitely believe in proposing legislation that would hold any sitting House member, or member of the Senate, especially an incumbent that is openly inciting violence. They've broken FEC regulations, and they've broken their oath that they took when they were sworn into office, that they be deemed ineligible to ever run for any office ever again. And I think if that were proposed, if I were in office now, that would be a bill that I would be writing up right now as we speak. If that were proposed fairly quickly, that could be a game changer for the primaries. Secondly, we need to make sure that every member of the House and the Senate is fully documented as legal U.S. citizens. We can't have Ilhan Omar out there at a pro-Somalia rally being introduced as the biggest proponent of Somalian allegiance, basically saying she supports Somalia over the United States. Again, that is breaking the oath she took when she was sworn into office. And again, she is someone that is not, in my opinion, based on the evidence, is someone that is here legally. Marrying your brother just doesn't cut it. Third, I believe in legislation that would remove the ability for peaceful protesters to wear masks, period. No mask allowed. If you're sick and you want to protest, sorry, you can't wear your mask. Sorry, just don't do it. I think that would, a lot of these, activists, cover their faces like the cowards that they are. So again, that's something small. I'm not denying. I'm all for free speech and peaceful protesting. I have no problem with it. I may not agree with it, but I have no problem with it. Have at it. Go march down the street. I don't care. But we've noticed that it's little things like that, like being able to hide your faces, that creates and makes it easier for these protests to turn into violent situations. And I think that's all I had. Sorry, I'm so tired. And I have to get up at 5 to go speak somewhere. Yeah. But anyway, great space. Thank you guys so much.
Sorry, I was go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to touch on a few things. There's many variables that are attributing to everything that's going wrong today, including the riot. And one of the things I keep hearing from everyone is to change legislation, and that begins with lowering the terms for Congress. Right? I think that's key number one, to give the power back to the people like it should have been from the beginning. I think that's the key thing. That way we have a voice that is heard. And the fact that it would be consistently, or the fact that Congress would consistently be swapped out every 3 or 4 years, whatever we would decide, right? There would be new faces, new minds. Business is built on relationships. And because of that, any president or any other congressman couldn't keep those relationships and sway the others from other states and districts, right? Which would in turn keep the power to the people. That's one of the immediate things I think that we need to change, and then the other variables can fall in line after that, right? Basically, we need to be heard for what I'm
So
getting
look
at.
here. Here's the thing. Diligent mentioned earlier. Our Creator gave us these rights that we have. We, the people, still are in charge. I know you may not like to, may not look like it, and appear like that on paper and shit like that. But that is our God-given rights or whatever. So we don't have to talk about like getting a piece of paper from anybody to do some of the basic things that are out there. And I think some of these ideas are good because y'all have some knowledge on some things. When it comes to like lobbying, if we could stop lobbying, I think that is a huge part. Oh, go to local campaign financing. I don't know, give them a raise even, and stop the bribery. Miss Lou had mentioned it earlier. We weren't opposed to getting permanent alliances with foreign bullshit. We're in every damn we're taking care of everybody else's shit but our own, and that's what I'm saying, man. We got to get back to the basics, to the Constitution. What does the Constitution say? Not the whole all the little sub clauses and add-ons and stuff like that. What does the Constitution say?
So just I want to breaking news real quick. Cam, who is on the ground in LA, Cam Higby. Make sure you guys are all following him. He is a badass, man. He gets right up inside these protesters areas and walks around them and is just just fearless. So make sure you guys are all following him. But he just
Diligent,
DM'd
did you
me.
see where he talked about?
He just DM'd me and God damn it. What was I going to say? Oh, he just DM'd me and said that their journalist, himself included, and one of his colleagues was detained and picked up when they were sweeping the area, but they were released. So anybody that was media or had a press pass was immediately released, Jennifer. They weren't arrested. So I just wanted to clarify on that.
I think we need to afford some protection for some of these law enforcement officers or some of these cops that are out there, boots on the ground on the front lines, to be able to engage and return fire when when they're throwing these objects or rocks being thrown at them. Until we start, respect is not given, respect is earned. And at this point, I feel that many of the police officers or law enforcement agencies that are out there being assaulted by these fucking vandals must demand their respect and earn it back. And until we start making examples and let it be known that our police officers are a force not to be reckoned with, this is not going to change. Until they start fighting back fire with fire, they're going to continue to be pushed over, and these individuals are going to continue to push the limits and continue testing them. I think more than anything, places like in LA, we're witnessing the police constantly backing down and moving away, retreating. Enough of that shit. If they want to act like vandals and they want to act like thugs, then start treating them as such and start returning and firing back on these individuals. I've had it seeing these police officers, border patrol agents coming out gushing blood, bleeding from these vandals, and it's time that they demand and get their respect back. It's really disgusting, despicable behavior. We're a country of law and order, and no other country in the world allows their law enforcement. These guys are literally scared to do anything to these protesters after they're being assaulted, and it should not be like that. I've had it seeing our officers being assaulted like that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, man. I think we need to make a fine example out of them. 100%. I wish they could have that day. The day those original officers. If you're assaulting or attacking an officer or trying to burn them, I don't know. A lot of local law enforcement in cities that I've lived in would shoot your ass if you did that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how they're getting away with it using these weapons against these officers.
Like
It's
at the end of the
disgusting,
day,
Anthony.
these people have families too. They got their kids at home, and to still go out, stick their neck out for everybody, for the rule of law, for safety and protection of everybody else, they should be able to protect themselves at the end of the day to make sure they're coming home to their family as well.
Well, and Anthony, I think this is a result of the mind virus that took over our country, right? Is that the one thing that they definitely targeted was police and how police could react to crowds, where we saw with George Floyd protests, and the stuff that went on in 2020. So I think like the woke mind virus not having the power that it did on this country is going to improve that. And we also got to remember this is Los Angeles, right? If there was like any place in the country other than like New York, Chicago, right? Like Los Angeles is not a stranger to riots. And I think that's why they specifically target it, and it's positioned to the border, right? But also because, like, think about how far the woke mind virus has taken over California.
Like to see Gavin Newsom on some of the tweets that he let out earlier, talking down on President Trump, saying, well, the Marines are sleeping on the ground. Motherfucker, they're out in the battlefield sleeping on the dirt in the trenches. That's what they do. Oh, they don't have water and they don't have food. Has he not seen his fucking state? All of the homeless that he has out there, none of those homeless out there have food. None of them have water. They literally give millions of dollars to hand out tents and sleeping bags for the homeless to be sleeping out on the streets. It's so frustrating, and I hope that there's some kind of legislation or some kind of law or some kind of charges that come down on Gavin Newsom, because his hypocrisy is off the fucking charts, man.
He's the
A
worst one,
hundred
man. He's the
percent,
worst
and
one.
it's not just the protesters. Anybody who is disclosing ICE raid locations and the location of officers going with the ICE raids, like that is not okay, and you are going to be held accountable. It's not funny, right? You're going to cost somebody their lives if you keep doxing ICE agents.
Rhinos and the woke mind, they got to go. Like both sides. Like, don't forget the rhinos though.
Bro, let me do some housekeeping real quick. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. We've been discussing. We're getting into the higher layers of this immigration problem. That's what it is. We have 20 to 30, I think even 40 to 50 illegal immigrants in our country right now. Donald Trump's trying to get rid of them, and the radical left is using it as an opportunity to riot and burn our streets. And that's exactly what you're seeing in LA and in Texas now. It looks like Texas is cracking down. They didn't wait a whole 2 days to act. And so it looks like their cities might not burn. I saw Dallas had declared, Dallas and Austin declared those protests unlawful. And therefore, if you were in them, you were getting arrested. So it looks like they're quelling it before it spreads. But that's Dallas. That's not California or one of these other woke states. Make sure you guys are all following my co-hosts. Jennifer Lawrence does a lot of activism on this platform. So does America Mission, her organization. You can find that on her profile, on her badge. And MAGA Voice, the best silent speaker on X Spaces, my favorite co-host. Make sure you're following her. She always puts out some badass content, and algorithm god too. You guys don't even know. We're gonna go through the rest of the hands, and then I'm gonna wrap it up because I am getting close to Vegas. I'm not even sure I'm going the right direction. I'm supposed to be going to Arizona, to Sedona, and to the Grand Canyon. And I think I'm in Nevada. I don't know. I've been hosting the space on the road with Starlink. Shout out to Elon Musk for making that possible. But we're going to continue to cover this, as the weeks roll on, regardless of what we're doing. So if you guys want to support what I'm doing, the best way is by subscribing. There's a pink button on my profile. It's $5 for you. It goes a long ways for me. And I typically offer subscriber only after spaces. After I do a space like this, I'm not going to do it tonight because it's so late and I'm on the road, but I will definitely next time. And also turn notifications on for my account. Share out my posts, my breaking news content. I'm competing with accounts that have millions and millions of followers and far more reach than I do. So Give me a hand here. All right, let's go through the rest of the hands and then we'll wrap it up.